Welcome to Headspace. We're all this week on FYI. We're doing a check on your mental health. Tonight we look at a disorder which affects not just young women, but a growing number of men. 200,000 people battle eating disorders here, and the consequences can be deadly. Here's what you need to know.
Eating, it's part of our everyday routine and essential to our survival. But what happens when food becomes more than just sustenance and turns into something we can control, leading to a disorder that can take over and even threaten our lives? It's a battle 20-year-old Anna Carnegie has waged.
Whenever I have a bad period, I just think back to when my whole life was dominated by food and by the thoughts and the obsessions and the exercise, and it was such a lonely, horrible place to be.
Anna was 16 when she began to develop the symptoms of anorexia.
I felt a bit like everything was out of my control and I couldn't rely on certain people, and this was something that I could kind of have control over, something that was mine.
She started cutting out food and embarked on a strenuous exercise routine that she kept secret.
Well, obviously I was losing a lot of weight and becoming a lot more tired and withdrawn. I'd find bruises appearing, especially from the exercise.
A family holiday made Anna realise the disorder had taken hold. Her parents became concerned around the same time. A trip to the doctor and later to a dietitian and a therapist followed. But a year later, Anna was receiving treatment as an inpatient in a psychiatric hospital.
While I improved a lot while I was there, once I got back into the outside world, things went downhill again.
The Department of Health guesses that up to 200,000 people in Ireland may be affected by eating disorders. That's 400 new cases every year. And every year, 80 people die as a result. Any number of factors can set off a disorder.
So there are certain individual risk factors like being perfectionistic and setting very high goals for yourself, or indeed if there's a family history of eating disorders. And then environmental factors. We're only too aware in adolescence how important peers are.
And you can't escape it in the media. In the past 2 years, separate studies in Ireland have shown the biggest impact on young people's mental health is body image. From social networking to magazines, teenagers are bombarded by images and body shapes that all look the same.
I suppose when you combine that with, say, a dieting industry that suggests this is how you have to look and here's how you can achieve that, no matter what your natural body shape is, you know, those two very strong messages are going to combine to have essentially a young generation that think my body is somehow wrong, but this is how I can fix it.
Ruth Neine works with Bodywise, a support group for people with eating disorders. A phenomenon that's less talked about is the growing number of men affected.
In the case of anorexia in men, often rather than simply restricting the diet, you're talking about a person over-exercising, which is exercising to the point where it's no longer something healthy that you're doing, but it's a compulsive thing that you have to do.
In Anna's case, the breakthrough came after 3 years.
People had started to give up on me or tell me that I was becoming chronic, and hearing that just made me realise that what was happening to me being chronic was worse than actually death, and I didn't want to die and I didn't want to become chronic, and recovery was the only other option, so I thought I'd better give it a go.
If you've been affected by any of the issues in that story, check out bodywise.ie. There you'll find a range of support services for people affected by eating disorders. We've also created a special FYI Headspace section on our own website. There you'll find fact sheets on eating disorders. So to find some headspace of your own, head along to tv3.ie/3e/FYI.